is more the weekend's results and what's left us in the race for top four. I can't believe I'm talking about the race for top four. It's got that bad that we're talking about a race for top four. But anyway, we'll get to all that. Hope you all had a good weekend. Of course, we just saw Chelsea win. We saw Newcastle drop points. We'll talk about all that. But as you can see from like the first bit of the title, Saliba-Rodrygo, is there something to keep an eye on here? And I fear there might be. I fear when Real Madrid get quite bullish about wanting a player, it becomes quite hard to resist them, whether you're the player or whether you're the selling club, because you know there's probably a deal to do there. So I'm going to go into some details around all that. Desperate to keep William Saliba. I think we all are. I don't think that's particularly controversial take or particularly great analysis. But we've got to look at the contract situation. We've got to look at how Arsenal manage this best. Because Arsenal are now in a situation... see, already this has come in. Yeah, I'm asking the question. Is there something in this? So we'll talk about all that. And we'll talk about where we are with with the players, with transfers. There's been lots recently with El Kanous. There's been stuff with Ademola Lookman. So we'll do a little bit of a transfer roundup, I suppose. But you know what? Let's go straight into the Saliba stuff. Because I know how you all get. I know how people get about transfers, and everyone gets very upset about people talking about transfers that don't have loads of weight to it, or transfer rumors and stories that have lots of weight to it. And what I always say back to people is, how can we know? I always use the example of talking transfers, that live show we do through the summer. And I think it was me, Robbie, Curtis. I think we were mid-Euros. I think Turkish might have been there too. And I remember bringing up Calafiori because there'd been some links from some journalists in Italy. I remember everyone just going, he's going to Juventus. He's going to end up at Juventus, going to follow Thiago Motta, who was his manager at Bologna, to Juventus. And we are just being used in the media like we were for Locatelli, like we were for Vlahovic. And that's exactly what it is. Lo and behold, we went and signed Calafiori, not only beating Juventus to him, but Real Madrid and other clubs too. Now, at the time, I remember everyone's reaction. It was a Talking Transfers, a live show. And I remember in the comments, as a lot of you probably will be now, there was so much like, James, come on, there's not a lot in this. No one reliable is reporting on it. Please, can we just stop entertaining all these ridiculous rumors? Now, I do not want William Saliba going anywhere. But if people are putting it out there, I think we've got to somewhat explore it, right? But what we really need to do is ask the question, do we want Rodrygo? Can we get him without having to enter any of this nonsense with William Saliba? But the other question is, how do Arsenal manage what is now the last 2 years of his contract? People have been talking about it online, so we got to explore it. So before you're all kind of just like, oh, I can't hear it, I don't want to hear it. Listen, you just never know with transfers. You never know who's picking up the information first, how it's got to them, and why certain things are doing the rounds. So let me tell you where this has come from. It's come from a guy called Rodri with an A, Rodra. He, I think, reportedly writes for Relevo. Have I heard of them? No. 270,000. Actually, I had heard of them, but I mean, I don't know quite how accurate they are. 270,000 followers on Twitter, followed by, people like Hand of Arsenal and others that are sort of, and other news aggregators that are quite on top of stuff when it comes to transfer news with Arsenal. Rodra himself has 25,000 followers. In fact, sorry, not Relevo. It's Rodra himself who's followed by Hand of Arsenal, JLA, and others. Does the amount of followers and who he's followed by, does that add weight to it? I don't know. I'm just letting you know. You can make you can decide how much stock you put in it. Okay, I'm just telling you where it's come from, and what the supposed information and rumor is, and it's had Twitter talking this morning. Now he's come in with two updates, one which we like and one which we don't. Now what he hasn't said is, I've used the term swap a bit kind of loosely there, right? It not in a we'll give you Saliba, you give us Rodrygo, we shake hands, we walk away. I'm talking, could they swap clubs this summer? So according to Rodra, Arsenal in recent days have inquired about Madrid's Rodrygo. The price is close to 100 million euros. It's not the first time we've heard about Rodrygo, the potential of him leaving and Arsenal maybe being interested. That has kind of emerged more in the last week or two. And it would feel like such a perfect fit in terms of what Arsenal are looking to add, but probably for what Rodrygo's looking for next, you don't get bigger than Real Madrid. And listen, I love Arsenal. I'd love to big us up in all ways, but Real Madrid are the biggest club in the world. You are taking a step down in some way, shape, or form. I know we just knocked them out, but I'm talking in terms of size of club. Um, but maybe just that slight change, but you become the main man. Maybe that's what Rodrygo could be for us. And I think wherever he ends up, it's you're mostly kind of looking at. He's probably mostly looking at that kind of step. As I say, that could Man City come in for him? We don't know. They got Savina, they got Doku, they got Grealish still. They just signed Marmoush, who can play out wide. So I don't know. And obviously, they've been incredibly competitive, winning so many trophies over recent years. Would he be the main man there? It'd still be Haaland or whatever. But, anyway, I'm just sort of exploring other clubs that Rodrygo could go to. But when it comes to Arsenal, yeah, he would come and be one of our main players. 100 million euros is about 85 to 89 million pounds. Feels like a deal we should be looking at, right? We need a left winger. We need someone who is going to be class across the front three in general. And listen, that might be the most marquee of forwards you can bring in this summer. And I would imagine Arsenal are asking the question. It'd be interesting, Andrea Berta. I don't know how many dealings you'd have done with Real Madrid, Atletico. I know there were players. Who was the midfielder? Who was the Llorente? Wasn't Llorente at Real Madrid and then ended up Atletico Madrid? And I think there were fullbacks that did moves because weren't the Hernandez brothers both at Real Madrid or both Atletico? Can't remember, but they ended up one at Bayern and one at the other. Now two ones at PSG. Anyway, I know I've knocked this. Well, one's now at AC Milan. Okay, I'm all over the place. But let me know. So maybe Atletico and Real Madrid have done some business between them. And Berta would have been a part of that. But yeah, I'm just thinking former Atletico Madrid sporting director Berta picking up the phone going, hi, Real Madrid. I'm not actually with them anymore. I'm now with Arsenal. Are you more interested in doing business on Rodrygo? So let's talk about the player in more detail in a little bit. I'm just giving you the rest of the stories because Roger then added to that the Real Madrid's top target for the centre-back position is William Saliba. I think this is the first time, and correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, I think this is the first time it's been categorically put out there. They want William Saliba. He's number one. I might be wrong. I think there's always been he's on the list, along with others. Like I think I've seen names like Luke Aber, for example, of Leipzig and a few others. I might be wrong. I've seen him sort of be linked with other names, Christian Romero, obviously at Spurs. But I don't. Again, I could be wrong. I'm trying to remember. I don't think I've ever heard this is the guy they want. That is the centre back they're going for. I think even Kanate might have been linked at some point. Anyway, then a lot of people felt that they needed more left-footed left centre back. But the way Real Madrid play, I don't think they're, Saliba's played left centre back before. And I don't think they're sort of so wedded to the idea. I don't think, look, Alonso is going to come in with a lot of sort of tactical upgrades and an evolution towards more modern style of management and tactics in football. Would you want a left-footed centre-back? Probably. But Real Madrid in general, when you look at this current team, I don't think they're particularly reliant on specificity on, if that's a word, specificity on, what foot the players are at centre-back or whatever. So I think all that stuff you can kind of brush aside. William Saliba is he's one of the best centre-backs in the world. And Real Madrid target the best players in the world. It's what they do. They need a new right back. They go for Trent Alexander-Arnold. Benzema goes, okay, they wait, was it a year they waited or so? But they go and get Kylian Mbappe. The year before that, they got Jude Bellingham. They signed the best players in the world. They targeted Luka Modric for years and years. Gareth Bale. That saga went on a year or two. Cristiano Ronaldo. Real Madrid go for the best players in the world. And I believe William Saliba is one of them. Well, centre-backs anyway. And whether all of you think, James, is that the source you're going with? Is that, for what it's worth, by the way, Hand of Arsenal, who's spot on with everything, came in with an update. I think this is what got people sort of talking. Hand of Arsenal came in and said, Arsenal will do everything they can to hold on to William Saliba. Real Madrid made it very clear in the past week he is their number one choice. Down to the club to show the player we are a serious institution. So when Hand of Arsenal speaks, people, I listen, right? There's not a lot of ITKs I give serious credit to. He is one of them. So, again, we'll talk about the Rodrygo stuff in more detail in a sec. But in terms of William Saliba, the reality is, whether you guys want to put your hands on your ears and just go, everything's fine, let's not talk about it. It's just the Madrid media spin and don't have to worry about it. Okay, fine. Maybe he doesn't go this summer. I don't think he goes this summer. Is he signing a new deal? Like, are you all 100% confident William Saliba is signing a new deal? He has 2 years left this summer. If he does, we're going to have to pay probably 250, 300 grand a week. Listen, I'm not saying that's not worth it, but that's probably what Arsenal going to have to do. And we'll rest another player added to those big wages of over 220, 230 plus. But okay, that's maybe we'll have to, what Arsenal have to do to, as Hand of Arsenal put it, show that they're a serious institution, okay? By the way, we'll get to the comments in a second. I want to get through the stories and we'll get your thoughts on it all. Is he signing a new deal? Real Madrid have a way of just making clubs or players just run down contracts. Just Trent Alexander-Arnold, Kylian Mbappe. They've done this before. They are masters of saying, we're happy to be patient. We are willing to be patient because we could get the better deal out of it. But ultimately, we know that you're going to play it our way because you want to be at Real Madrid. Now, maybe that gets us 2 more years out of William Saliba. Okay. But then he goes for nothing. And this is probably, with Saka, the most valuable player in our squad. If you're talking pure what they'd go for in the market, I think William Saliba and Bukayo Saka would command the 2 highest fees. And then everything comes in like, we shouldn't be selling players. We shouldn't be selling this player. Listen, we shouldn't. I agree. We absolutely shouldn't. But there is a right time to sell. And that's true of almost every player. You know, Coutinho, Liverpool absolutely determined not to. Got 120 million or something for him. And look what they did after. Now, again, I'm not saying that's what would happen to us. I mean, you know, Liverpool got to the Champions League final, I think, having Coutinho in their squad. Did they? Or maybe they didn't. Maybe he'd gone by then. But Arsenal will be thinking, what is the right time? Is it this summer where you demand £100 million? Is it next summer when he hasn't signed a new deal, there's 1 year left, and you're asking for 60, 70? Or is it there's, you know, you just gamble on it and you get 2 more years out of it. And if he doesn't sign, he doesn't sign. But at least you've had 2 more years of who I believe is a world-class centre-back. This is a difficult one. And actually, what you want to do is say, well, it's none of those 3 things. It's a new contract. It's Andrea Berta, Mikel Arteta, Tim Lewis, whoever it is, Richard Garlick, everyone involved, you know, the Cronkies. I was about to say, I do. He's not there. All of them coming together and going, William Saliba, for 2 years, there was progress. You know, you were part of a team that fell away in the title race. Then you're a part of a team that took it to the last day. Now you're part of a team that went to the Champions League semi-final, maybe a final. Who knows? We've obviously got Wednesday to come. Yes, the league campaign has been disappointing, but don't worry. Victor Gyökeres is coming in. Nico Williams is coming in. Martin Zubimendi is coming in. We are adding quality players around you. Don't you worry. We are going to give you the players. And this is the kind of the final push. Here's 250, 300 grand a week, sign on the dotted line. And I tell you what, if we haven't won a trophy in a year, you know, we will, gentleman's agreement, we will agree to negotiate on something in a year's time. Listen, I don't know, but you got to say something, right? Whether it's the money, whether it's selling the project, whether it's saying, but in this amount of time, you can fulfill a dream. Maybe it's not a dream. I don't know. But it's a lot of work. So like I said, people, we can't do head in the sand stuff about this. He is one of the players, along with Bukayo Saka, although there were rumors and reports that he is signing a new deal, Gabriel Magalhaes and Gabriel Martinelli. And I understand the Martinelli one won't feel as urgent as with Gabriel, Saka and Saliba. But we can't be on our heads. We can't have our head in the sand about this, people. Real Madrid are knocking. I've no doubt about it. Whether these reports are true or not, they will absolutely be knocking on the door for William Saliba. And we need to have an idea for what we want to do and how we want to play this. I think William Saliba loves it in London, but I don't think the reason to leave Real Madrid would just be because, to leave Arsenal for Real Madrid would just be because he's not happy at Arsenal, or just because of trophy. Sometimes you want to change. Sometimes you just want to play for some of the biggest clubs in the world. And, you know, we've got to be very wary of that. While we are not delivering on trophies and actually proving ourselves as real winners amongst Europe's elite, these players, I'm sorry, there's going to be a temptation to go, oh, agent, who just called? What was it, Real Madrid? That's interesting. We'll go through your comments, 140 of them, wow. But I want to go through all that. Let's hope you're not all just telling me to just stop giving these kind of stories attention. I think we've got to be fair. Right, let's go through it. Afternoon, Leo. Hope you are good. Welcome to the live stream. 800 of you watching. Hit the like button, people. Hope you're all well. Big up James in the chat. Says DS Electronics Unlimited. Thank you very much. Never in a million years. I agree. Well, not never in a million years. I wouldn't do the deal. I wouldn't. I think there's other wingers on the market. I think Rodrygo is absolutely class, but I wouldn't do the deal. I don't think we should be tearing apart our platform, which has been key to our nearly success, and Saliba is a huge part of that. And I agree with this. We're meant to be building on what we have, not even thinking about these kind of swaps. I completely agree. Also agree with this. We need a tricky winger. Okay. I do Saliba for Vinny, says Tyfield. Oh, I don't think that's on the cards, and that's a great question. Not the current Vinny. William Saliba is one of the best players in the world, in my opinion, and certainly in his position. I just think you're losing a huge part of your when you really deep it for a second. Arsenal's defense has got them in 2 title races and a Champions League semi-final. Because that attack is not fluid enough in its movement. It's not good enough in terms of its coaching. It's not good enough individual quality. Martinelli, Trossard, Jesus, and Havertz, because I'm not putting Bukayo Saka in that list, but those players, as much as I think there's things they do well and they are good and they can do things for sure, and I'm sure they play a part in the squad, but those players, as players we've actually relied on as starters for the last 2-3 years, should not be going pound for pound with Man City's attack, Liverpool's attack, Real Madrid's attack, PSG's attack. They're not at that level. Our defense is a big part of why we've been competitive. And our defensive structure. Our defense is also led by Mikel Arteta and his coaching and how he manages the group. That's all a part of it too. But how we are as a defensive unit from front to back, the attackers play a part. And Mikel Arteta's coaching, but also the individual quality we have in defense is a huge part. Do not be tearing that apart. Seriously, don't be putting that apart. It's just not. It's not. You're pulling on the foundations. When you look at when Liverpool, I actually mentioned Coutinho as an example. When they sold Coutinho and got what was it, ludicrous amount of money in, I don't think their foundation was Coutinho. I think their foundation was their electric front three of Sane, Mane, and Firmino, but also this workman-like midfield. Van Dijk was then a huge part, but Coutinho had magic in there. But I didn't feel you were losing like a key essence. He was just an unbelievable footballer for Liverpool, but he wasn't, I think, at the heart of their DNA under Jurgen Klopp. And I think William Saliba is. Absolutely ridiculous. They can't seriously entertain offers on Saliba. He's the best. Kwame says he doesn't trust Arteta with transfers. Well, hopefully Andrea Berta is someone you can trust and comes through. Let's go through more comments. Appreciate you all jumping in, bigging up the live stream. Appreciate it a lot. Thank you very much. Maher asks, slightly off topic, but I like this question. Hi, James. I'm from Canada. Really, really want to visit Canada, man. That's going to be my next travel. Next time I'm not on Forever Arsenal for 3 weeks because I'll be in Canada. Can I ask you a question? Why does Arteta not try any new academy forwards for the past 10 games? We know our season is done and the players he has are not performing. Yeah, and this leads into the conversation around Waneri as well and kind of lack of minutes. Look, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how good these youngsters are. Arteta obviously brought Butler Deji on, I think, away at Ipswich. But generally, he's been very reluctant to just kind of give the youngsters minutes, even just for the sake of it. I think he has set a standard for the one thing I'll give Arteta, and I'm not saying the management of Waneri has been good, for example, recently. I think Arteta should have played. I think Arteta should have played Waneri more. But I think the one thing I will say is he has set a standard for actually how good you have to be to come into this Arsenal team as a youngster. It's not just if you're the best in your age groups, if you're one of the best players at academy level, then there's a natural place for you and there's going to be natural opportunities there. You have to earn it. And there was a time where people just went, why isn't Patino being given a chance? Why isn't Patino playing? I'm not trying to knock a kid now, but where's Patino now? I mean, listen, Fair Play's got way further in the game than I've got. But the way people were talking about him, right? Who's he play for? Deportivo. He plays for Deportivo in the second division, I think. And he's only made 3 appearances this season for them. He's 21 years old. But there was a lot of hype around Patino. And then he was thrown in the FA Cup and he struggled. He wasn't quite at that level against Forest. And, then I think he came on against Sunderland and scored, to be fair, in a Carabao Cup quarter-final. But generally, the opportunities have been so few and far between. Rule Walters, he went to, there's a lot of talk about him and him getting an opportunity. He went to Luton. Koja Dubry's gone to Brighton. I'm not sure he's played much there, if at all. So with these players, what I would say is the players that have come in and have broken through under Mikel Arteta, Bukayo Saka is now one of the best. He's one of the best forwards in the world. Lewis Skelly is already being put up there as one of the best left backs on the planet right now. He's playing at that level. And Ethan Nwaneri's talent is absolutely undeniable. So I think Mikel Arteta set a standard for how good you have to be to come into this team. And do you know what? I kind of get it. I do kind of get it. What I would say on the flip side is sometimes you rise with the level. And I think with what have been dead rubber games, I think he could have given youngsters some opportunities just to see if they sink or swim. Because, you really sometimes don't quite understand. Sometimes you rise to the level around you, saying like, I would know. I don't know. But I've seen it. I mean, I remember in a bit of a sort of mini injury crisis, brought in Francis Coquelin. People were like, what? And he looked good for 2 years. Like he was part of a good side that won FA Cups and, was playing alongside Ozil Cazorla. He was good. That's one of the best midfield threes I've seen in the Emirates era. Cazorla, Coquelin, Ozil. And that was him kind of being thrust in. On the flip side, Arsene Wenger never gave Serge Gnabry much of a chance. And at the time, if we were doing live streams back then, if I were on AFTV back then, I might have said, well, again, maybe he's just not at that level. But Werder Bremen, then Bayern Munich, and look what he's done. So, it's really hard to gauge with young players. It's so, so, so hard to gauge. But all I can think is Arteta is looking at these players and he's saying, you just have to be at a certain level. And I think it's safe to assume that some of these players haven't been. The way he talks about Max Dowman, the way he talks about Max Dowman is like he's saying he will play football for us next season. And that, I have no idea. I have no idea if that's a good thing, a bad thing. I don't know. He's 15 years old, I think. I don't want any part of next season's squad planning to have Max Dowman in mind. And not because he's not talented enough. This guy sounds like the most incredible talent we've ever produced. And you see the comps, he looks absolutely fantastic. He's 6 foot already. He's taller than me. He's 15. But he's 15 till December, 31st of December. So he turns 6. So at best, he's going to be 16 playing next season. And he'd be playing half the campaign as a 15-year-old if he's good enough. Guys, we shouldn't be squad planning for Max Dowman. If he's good, if there's an opportunity to, what a story would be brilliant. Look what Lamine Yamal's doing now. And he got his kind of opportunity as a 16-year-old. And wow, that journey's been incredible. When you've got those talents, you can't deny them. But I'm just saying, I don't think you plan for that. I think if it happens, then great. But when we're looking at our squad for next season, we're going through the players and the positions and the names and the depth. I don't think Dowman should be thought of. I just think it should be a bonus if he's really got to that level to the point of contributing. Sorry, I went off on a bit of a complete tangent about youngsters there. But all this to say, the way Arteta speaks about Dowman is so unbelievably exciting. And full credit to the kid, because that is amazing. That is really amazing to have that kind of hype around you. And whenever people watch him, you go, oh my word, this guy's a joke. So credit to him. If he's knocking on that door, credit to him. But I just think squad planning for next season is going to be a slightly different situation for me anyway. We're not cooked, guys. We're not cooked. Come on. There's still plenty of positives to build on. Thank you. So I love Hand of Arsenal, formerly Hand of Ozil. He's going to jump in and he knows his stuff. And obviously, Hand of Arsenal, you've heard me reading out your thoughts on this. He says, evening, James. We need a catch up, mate. Hope you're good. He says, Rodra is a very, very reliable journalist. Cool. Taking Hand of Arsenal's word for it, people. So, guys, if there's Yeah, we listen. We listen when something's said. Sorry, I see you there. Sorry, I hadn't read the comments. But big up, man. It's good to see you in the comments, and I hope you're well. Okay, let's go through some more comments. Oh, bless. I kept missing your comments. I'm so sorry. I've only just gone through them now. Junior Calafat is the best in the world at his job. We must prove to Saliba we're serious. Who's Junior Calafat? Junior Calafat. Who is this? Sorry. He's a football scout, chief scout for Real Madrid. Oh. Okay. Anyway, let's move on. Should we talk about Rodrygo? No, let's go through the super chat and we'll talk about Rodrygo. James, I do trust Berta. Kwame, good to hear. I see your super chats. We will get to them, people. What are you lot saying about Dalman? Yeah, he's a baller. Swap Saliba for Lamine Yamal. Now that. Don't think Barcelona are signing up to that one. Okay, cool. Right, let's go through super chats. If we lose to PSG, is it time for a new manager? Oh, this question. Okay. So, okay, here's my thing. Here's my thing on the manager front. I think, and I have thought for a while, that I think Mikel Arteta is going to lift the big trophies. And in the last 24 hours, there's been a lot of conversation around Mikel Arteta's future. I think he's going to, in his career, lift the big trophies, whether it be domestic league titles, at Arsenal or abroad. I think he'll win the Champions League one day. I think he's a very talented manager. I think he's a brilliant manager. And I think he's going to lift them. Can you be a brilliant manager and yet it's just not the right marriage? Maybe Arsenal just aren't the right club for him. Maybe something just doesn't, maybe it's something about the club, maybe something about the manager doesn't quite suit us. I don't know. Can it just not be quite right? And then somewhere else he will thrive. And maybe with another manager we thrive. Or maybe we're only ever here because of Mikel Arteta. I can entertain all those conversations. I think you can bring all of them up. What I've been saying recently on Forever Arsenal, I said it on the Gooniverse too, is I don't think, do you know what, I've said this for a while? Because a lot of people say, oh, I get a lot of criticism, I get a lot of hate for backing Mikel Arteta, apparently just relentlessly. All I ever do is back Mikel Arteta. But I don't. I mean, I think he's very, very good. But I don't think we should be afraid to ask the question about whether there's someone better suited. Now, I don't think, at 7:33 on a Sunday night, 3 days before PSG is a time to really have that conversation, to look at his pros and cons compared to others' pros and cons, to really dissect and give a serious amount of time he should be given, and to say if he doesn't do this against PSG, then he should go, whatever. I don't want to engage in those conversations pre that game. After that game, let's see where we are. I promise you, if we're in the final, we're all euphoric, and we will be giving Arteta a lot of credit for getting us there and knocking out PSG and Real Madrid and doing what we did against Sporting and, breezing past PSV in the manner we did to get to a final. There would be enormous praise for Mikel Arteta for doing that, which is why I don't really want to entertain the conversation too much. But my wider point is, I don't think we should be afraid when the dust settles on the season to just ask the question, how much longer does he get? Does a manager deserve to be fired for finishing second and being competitive just because they haven't got over the line? How much weight did the other cups have? Does he leave us, guys? I mean, when does he go, do you know what? I've tried everything. I've not been backed as much as I wanted to. Listen, he might say that, and some of you might say he's been backed loads. I'm just saying, does he go, this isn't for me anymore? I don't know. He's talked about having thoughts of walking away because of the pain of not delivering a title before. To answer your question, if we lose PSG, it's time for a new manager. I'm not there yet. But you're not going to find me going, no, won't talk about, no, this is ridiculous. No, don't. Because it's not ridiculous. You can have a conversation about how to get the absolute most out of this current group, to look at their potential. I think Timber, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Lewis Skelly, Thomas Partey, Declan Rice, Martin Odegaard, Bukayo Saka, David Raya. I think these are Ethan Nwaneri. I think they are brilliant, brilliant footballers. And I'm seeing worse clubs with worse players lift silverware above us over the last few years. Let's not miss out on the potential of this team. I think Arteta's still the one to get the potential out of this team, but I'm not afraid of the conversation. Luis Enrique, Hansi Flick, and Inzaghi. What's his first name, Inzaghi? Should know, I'm Italian. Inzaghi, Inter Milan. What's his name? Simone. Mum will kill me. So Inzaghi, all three of those managers who are Champions League semi-finalists right now, and I think entertained all of us in the semi-finals. None of them managed in the Premier League. You're telling me they wouldn't have a look at that Arsenal group and that Arsenal job, and maybe with Andrea Berta, and maybe with some backing, and go, I could do something here. We're still one of the biggest clubs in the world. Make no mistake about it. So I don't think we should be afraid of the conversation. Theo says, Real Madrid have a lot of players that we would surely be happy to swap for Tchouaméni, Diaz for Saliba, then go by Huijsen and Koundé. I don't like Huijsen in for Saliba. I think Huijsen's great. Huijsen? No one's told me how to pronounce that. I could Google it, but I haven't. We're signing Zubimendi, guys, and Diaz doesn't move the needle for me. Good player, very good player. But we'll let Saliba go for them just so we could get those and then add Huijsen and Koundé. I mean, they're good players, but I get what you're saying, Theo. I prefer the Rodrygo deal. And speaking of, what do we... is there... Have L'Equipe come out and said something about Saliba? Sorry, I've just seen a comment. Oh, no. Breaking news from L'Equipe. Oh, no. William Saliba is very attracted to Real Madrid. It's the only club he would be willing to leave Arsenal for. Are you believing me now, people? Yeah, I saw your early comments. I'm getting them back up. I'm petty like that. Let's get those early comments. What the fuck with that headline, says Chris. No chance. Although, to be fair, you were probably just saying you wouldn't do the deal. This is nonsense, James. Why even bite at this crap? Are you all still on the light? Are you all still tuning in? Yeah, guys, there's no smoke without fire. I don't think he's going to leave this summer. But my word, get your head out the sand, okay? We have 3 years in a row, unless we win the Champions League, with 3 years in a row being competitive and not walked away with anything to show for it. Oh, Community Shield. So please don't bury your head in the sand about this. There's 2 years left on Saliba's deal. This is the most money we could ever command for him. It's this summer, unless he signs a new one. Don't have your head in the sand on this, people. There could be something in this. There is something in this. And big times for Arteta and Berta. Honestly, if he's not willing to sign a new deal, fuck the money. I'd keep him for another year anyway. I'd hope that you've added everything this summer you need to add, even if he doesn't sign a new deal. And I just hope that at least this group wins something with William Saliba while we have him. And then if he doesn't sign a new deal, then maybe get what you can for him next summer. And maybe things go so well that you sign him. But I just wouldn't remotely entertain selling him this summer. I really wouldn't. But Hannah Arsenal says, James, check Madrid zone. Yeah, is it the L'Equipe update? During talks between Real Madrid and William Saliba, the club is promising the Frenchman that he would be the new leader of the team's backline. Piss off. Real Madrid are willing to follow any strategy to get Saliba, make a bid for him this summer, make a move for him in 2026 when he has 1 year left in his contract, sign him in 27. What? I told you all. This came out. Madrid Zone are watching AFTV. They're watching AFTV. This came out 20 minutes ago, people. I'm the GOAT. I literally said to people, and I'm being facetious, I'm having a laugh. Don't overreact. I literally said to people, showing you all this. Where is it? Here you go. I literally just said to you all 20, 30 minutes ago that Madrid will do it all. Before I read this, I looked at you. I'm giving myself credit over this one. Not that I feel good about it. Yeah, they are. They're watching this stream. That they are the kind of club, they will put up the money like they did for Bellingham. They will wait for years like they did Mbappe. They'll happily just wait till the contract situation makes sense like they did with Trent. They'll get him on a cut price a year later. They will do whatever, but they're going big for him now, people. It's out there. Okay? So are you all paying attention now? Are we all listening now? Okay, there is shit to this. And look, I'm sitting here very kind of, what's the word? Animated, because Hand of Arsenal, I don't doubt you, bro. I know they doubt. I don't doubt you, my friend. Everyone go follow Hand of Arsenal. Top tier information on Arsenal, especially on transfer front. I'm not here, acting animated because I'm freaking out over the idea of losing him. I think he's going to stay. This summer, and I think we'll have another crack at competing for the big honours with him in this team. And I don't think he's desperate to leave. I actually think he's very happy. But oh my word, now we've got a battle on our hands to get him down to a new contract. We have a serious battle now because this is it. It's coming in hot, right? As confirmed by Hand of Arsenal, a very reliable journalist has come out with this, and now L'Équipe, who of course are well placed on this too. Now they have said this too, that William Saliba does not intend to force a move away from Arsenal, but the English club will have to prove to him that it's possible to win trophies there. Right, that doesn't surprise me either. Real Madrid now in contract with William Saliba's entourage. The player believes at Real Madrid, the highest level of footballer can reach. There's a lot there, people. I think I'll take the Rodrygo deal now. Well, if you're going to nick him, could we have Rodrygo, please? Yeah. I'm nervous about this one. Let me get a gulp of water. Chat amongst yourselves for a second in the comments. Stress. Okay. That wasn't fun, going through all that. But you know what? And I really mean it, people. If one more person tries to tell me, don't entertain these stories, don't entertain these rumors, it's absolute nonsense. Why are you even talking about this? I proved the Calafiori thing earlier, and now this has all come up as we've been live. There is absolutely no smoke without fire a lot of the time, whether deals are advanced or not. And we need to accept the reality of this situation. Arsenal have to work hard now to keep this player. Anyway, now we can move on. You're taking the piss. You are a mystic over it again. Is that an actual, that's not right. Let me just refresh Madrid zone. Sorry, there's more stuff coming out. That's not true. No. Let me see. Yeah. Real Madrid have decided to sign Arsenal's William Saliba. They've been in talks with all parties for weeks, and they want him this summer. Okay, brilliant. Shit. Right, I'm moving on. I don't know, fucking... How more depressing can your weekend get? So, on Rodrygo, pay 85 million. He's absolutely class. Bring him in. We need him. That's all I've got to say on the player. He's class. Absolutely class. Here's a question for you all. I'm not going to answer it because I don't want to. Are we better with Rodrygo on the left and Ben White centre-back, or Martinelli on the left and Saliba centre-back? That's not me saying I'd sell Saliba. I absolutely wouldn't do it, even if they come in for 110 million pounds this summer. I'd rather lose for 50 next year. But I'm just asking you guys, what do you think? Be interested to know. People saying Saliba centre back. Okay. There's one more thing we've got to talk about, which is slightly annoying. Here we go. Dun dun dun. The race for the top 4. People are saying with Saliba at centre back. By the way, answering my question there. I think probably 2. Oh wow. Nathan says no with Rodrygo, of course. What kind of question is that? Yeah, but with White at centre back, right? So anyway, basically we're a better team if we do the swap or not. But yeah, I would be keeping. I'll be keeping Saliba this summer. People ask about super chats. I will get to them. Don't you worry. Absolutely, we'll get to them. But I just want to make sure we get all the info for this live stream. Right. So this was the weekend's action. I mean, idiots, man. Questions for Nicholas Yeover, man. Defensively, not doing our jobs on set pieces. And do you know what? I think we have every right to ask the question. If that's where we're conceding most of our goals, it's from set pieces. That was an area we're so strong in, both going forward and defensively. When there's all the praise, which I've given him loads, and there's a bloody mural because of the set pieces and how good we've been from them. When that's the case, I think it's only right that you bring his name up again when it's not going great. You go, well done. We got all the praise. Now things aren't going so well. Been found out a little bit. So what's next? Anywho, this was an ideal result. I'll be honest. This wasn't. I don't think we're going to hold second place. I think we'll finish 3rd. But Liverpool did well there. And Forest go to Palace, and they're in really strange form, Forest. In fact, just have a look at their more recent results. They just lost at home to Brentford. They did beat Tottenham. They got knocked out of the cup, which would have been disappointing. They lost at home to Everton. Then they lost away at Villa. So really, I think they'd have backed themselves to get a point there because Villa's form has been hit and miss, albeit they were on a good run at the time. 1, 3, they could easily have 7 more points. Now they don't, right? They don't. So we could say it's buts and maybes, but they could easily have 7 more points. And that would place them. I'm just playing a little game here. That would place them 7 extra points on 67, level with us, with a game in hand. Now, obviously, they haven't, right? So fine, they haven't. You know, they've fallen away too. But the point is, like, I'm just trying to sort of highlight that we're lucky that Chelsea have been hit and miss. We're lucky that somewhat Forest have dropped off. But, you know, these lot are catching. That Newcastle result against Brighton dropping points, you know, did us a bit of a favour. You know, obviously, if we beat them in forgetting what happens at Anfield, if we beat them at the Emirates, then we secure finishing above them. And probably secure top 3 at that point, because then these two have to face off, Newcastle and Chelsea. But that, I think we're going to fall behind Man City again. And ultimately, be a 3rd year in a row we finish behind them. It should be so disappointing. Here are the fixtures. Liverpool away, Newcastle home, Southampton away. Also got pre-season in there. All eyes are on this, people. So look, we've got 10 minutes left. Let's do some super chats. Let's do some positives, because we can still do something in the Champions League. And, you know, I'm excited for that game. I'll always be excited about Champions League semi-final. We're only a goal down. We've got an opportunity. But, you know, my word, Arsenal have to really dig deep. Okay, what have we got? Josephine, how can any of you idiots be talking about Arteta's job before a second leg semi-final Champions League? This channel is ridiculous. This channel is ridiculous. Sometimes Arteta has taken us so far and beat Real Madrid 5-1. Come on, you Gunners. Guys, I don't know what to say to this. You know, I literally said in the live stream, I literally said on this live stream that the question is out there. We are here to talk about what is being talked about amongst Arsenal fans. It's AFTV. It stands for Arsenal Fan TV. And this is what Arsenal fans have been talking about. Whether you, Josephine, agree with it or not, others have talked openly about the idea of Mikel Arteta not being the one. And that if he doesn't beat PSG, he should go. So I've brought that topic that's being put out there. And I've said that I'm backing the manager, that I don't think this is the time to really go into the nuts and bolts of that conversation. But that as a club, as a fan base, we shouldn't be scared of the idea that there might be better out there. Now, if I did a full breakdown, Arteta should go. This manager's better. It's time to move on. And I dropped that the night before PSG. I totally get the sentiment of this super chat. But we have been in shambolic form in the league. We are behind in the Champions League first leg. We are about to go a 5th full campaign with Arteta without silverware. We're allowed to ask the question. And that's all I'm doing. I'm just putting the question out there and saying, don't be afraid of it. I don't want the guy gone at all. I rate him massively, I think Mikel Arteta's a brilliant manager. But stop all just being like, no, we can't talk about it. We've got PSG, we can't possibly talk about it. They should be focused on their own thing, right? Shutting out the outside noise and just focusing on what they've got to do. What we talk about amongst us fans shouldn't have any impact. So I don't say that this channel's ridiculous and that we're idiots for talking about it. Others have talked about it, and I've simply brought the topic up here. I haven't really said much on it other than don't be afraid, because in 3-4 days' time, this might be a conversation. And in 3-4 days' time, people aren't telling you to shut up about it if we're knocked out. But it's like I said on the flip side. If we go through, if we beat PSG, Mikel Arteta will get all the praise in the world, and people will do the opposite and go, I can't believe anyone ever entertained the idea of sacking him or moving on from him. That's how football works. The results will swing that massively, and then you'll get one side going that heavily on the other side, and then when something goes wrong, they'll go heavily on the other side. And that's why I find these debates about managers so boring. But I'm backing the guy, and I think he's going to beat PSG for what it's worth. Anurag says, we were very strongly linked to Gehi last year. This year, there's genuine talk about Hyson. I'm going to go Hyson. Looks like the club has seen it coming. Oh, God, they'd have seen it coming. But with Gabriel, too, I mean, those two centre-backs are in high demand. Owen says, Tchouaméni or Rodrygo would be ideal swaps if you have to let him go. Rodrygo is a truly world-class footballer, and Tchouaméni allows Rice to play as the 8 and has been 2-time Madrid Player of the Month. I like Tchouaméni big time, but I think we're going to keep Partey and sign Zubimendi. So I wouldn't for Tchouaméni, but I do like Rodrygo a lot. I think they've just got to be dealt separately. Can we get Rodrygo this summer? And then if Saliba goes next summer because he won't sign a new deal, then that's what it is. James, shut up. We have a second leg coming. Stop. It's Joe's phone again. Egan says, I don't think Saliba for Rodrygo is a net plus or net minus. Answers one question to create another. Very, very good way of putting it. Take 100 million, it's our Coutinho moment, says Brandon. I talked earlier about why I didn't think this was the same. I sort of get the sentiment. Abdullah says, Saliba is replaceable. If we get a Rodrygo and a Gyökeres, Gabby White, Timber, Calafiori, Kivior, Lewis Scully can win a Premier League. Rodrygo, Saka, Gyökeres can win a Premier League. Martinelli and Kai can't. We need to be smart on this. We would still need more, though, because Tomiyasu isn't fit. And then you're going, well, White's a centre-back and he's had problems. You'd still need more. I mean, I think we need a right centre-back anyway. I think if you lose Saliba, you almost need 2. Maybe another fullback. So, yeah, we need to do some work there. Say some more comments. What does Gyökeres has gone mean? What does that mean? Kwame, I agree with you. Man, is it a crime to not give opinions? I think, are you agreeing with me on what I'm saying there? Let me flip it. If you're saying, is it a crime to give opinions? Then that's certainly my sentiment. Let me know, Kwame, in the comments what you mean by that. It's so true. Is it a crime just to ask a question and be open to a conversation? Sorry, mate, it's football. It happens. Yeah, you're absolutely spot on. Wow, James being told. I know, comments are on me. Super chats are on me. Michael says, we are not winning. Don't let anyone deceive you. We should not have done it at home. Michael, see with this, yeah? Fine, that's how you feel about it. I'm not going to police how you... Just had an alarm go off. I'm not going to police how you support and how you feel about it. Absolutely fine. This is how you feel, that's how you feel. What we say is, it's not anyone deceiving me. It's not like I'm having people going, James, I just think we can do it. And I'm going, oh, actually, yeah, me too. I saw us. What would you rate Arsenal's performance out of 10 against PSG? I'd give it a 3 or a 4. I don't think we're terrible. I think terrible is like a 0, 1 or 2. I don't think we were fine. I wouldn't say, oh, we were fine. I think we were a bit below our, I'll give it a 4 out of 10, right? And I still think we should have come off the pitch with 2 goals. I still think there was ways to hurt PSG there. And I think it wasn't until the game got stretched at the end that they actually really had the chance to make it a second or a third. So my eyes are telling me that that's the best I've seen PSG. Oh no, it's not. They were great against Liverpool. PSG was sensational. Let's just say that. So if we get to that 7, 8, or 9, like we have done in both ties against Real Madrid, I think we can beat them. So my eyes, what I've seen of this club in the Champions League, including Tuesday night against PSG, tells me I think we can. I think we can go through. But I somewhat agree. Not doing the job at home is disappointing. But yeah, let's see. Samoyed, I've seen your comment, and yeah, I have. So big thank you for noticing. I appreciate that a lot, my friend. James, what do you think realistically this summer window? What do I think realistically about this summer window, and who are Arsenal actually going to buy? Okay, go on. Final question. What do I honestly think is going to happen? Let's go through the positions. I think we'll get a backup goalkeeper. I actually think Berta might pull the plug on Johan Garcia. He sounds too good to be a number 2. And I think other clubs might come in for him. So I don't think we'll do the Garcia deal. But I think he'll get in a 10, 15 million pound backup. In the back four, I think we'll keep Saliba, and I think we'll add a defender. I think it'll be one of Hyson or Hayter or someone like that. I think they'll spend quite big on that position because we just always do. So true to form, we'll just go again and do that. We'll keep Tomiyasu, we'll keep White. I think Zinchenko will go. I think Kivior will go. Yeah. Yeah. I think Arsenal would like to keep him, but I think he'll go because Calafiori can cover left centre back. We'll bring in another centre back. White, Timber, Tomiyasu can all play centre back. We're about to add more midfielders. So, if it's an emergency, you can always drop Rice there. Partey can play right back. And I think good money will come in for Kivior. I think there'll be a club willing to spend 25, 30 million for him. And you've maybe made a small profit, but ultimately it's a big chunk of money that's coming in. So I think Kivior will go. Sure, I think he deserves to be starting somewhere. Premier League club might come in for him, by the way. If you're talking about someone who's shown that they can keep up with the pace of the Premier League, can do it in Europe as an international, and by the way, it's got a wonder of a left foot. His left foot is brilliant. Yeah, I think Kivior might go. I think Partey will sign a new deal. I think we'll sign Zubimendi. Rice and Marino will be 2-8. Erdegaard. And then I think we'll bring in one more central midfielder. So I don't think it'll be Zubimendi only. I think we'll get like an El Canous, like a market opportunity type midfielder. And I think that will be good because I think that means Waneri's kind of more for the forward line. I also think we'll keep Vieira. Actually, I think he's going to stay. And then, as we talked about earlier, does Max Dowman get the odd appearance here and there? So there's a chance that we go from basically Erdegaard being our only kind of creator that Arteta seems to trust this current campaign to next season, maybe Erdegaard, Waneri, Vieira, new signing, and Dowman. And you've got 5 creative types there. I would like, and Dowman, like I said, you don't, I mean, I'm now contradicting what I was saying earlier. You don't plan for the squad with Dowman. So even if you just take those 4, Vieira, Waneri, Erdegaard, and a 4th, preferably a right footer to mix up the balance. I think Arteta might try to get more of his creators and passers back into this team and back into that midfield. There's a big reason why he wants Zubimendi. So, yeah, that's my prediction for the midfield. So then I think we'll get a striker and a left winger. So I think we're going to get a goalkeeper, a defender, a 6, a 10-ish, a left winger and a striker. 6. Well, that's what I think we need to do. Will we? Yeah, I actually think we will. I think Arsenal will panic about the way this season has ended in the league. And real going my head over my heart, people, I'm really sorry. I don't think we'll win the Champions League. And I think that will ring alarm bells again. Heartbreaking. I actually think we'll get past PSG. I think we'll find something on the night. I just fear that the finals are bridged too far. I think Barca and Inter Milan are a lot more cohesive and have a much better understanding of what they want to do. Yeah. Anyway, that's what I think for the summer. Let's see your final super chats, people. We'll round it off. I read that one. Yeah, I read it. Okay. Josephine. James, I'm only reading these because they're super chats because you're talking complete nonsense. James, you're blatantly trying to create headlines for a semi-final. True Arsenal fans will just support the team. Remember, Arsenal players watch AFTV and you're talking about a man's job. It doesn't help. Josephine, welcome to football. Welcome to football media. Mikel Arteta will not be worried about what James on AFTV is saying. I promise you he couldn't care less. And I don't think anything I've said has been disrespectful or remotely, harsh. Or what's the word? Not triggering, that's not the word, but like, none of it's heated. None of it's, we've just been talking about, we've just been asking questions here. And Joseph, I appreciate your super chat. Genuinely, thank you. And thank you for the contribution to the channel. But you're criticizing our channel and contributing to it with these super chats. So thanks. But it's like, I don't really get it. Thank you for tuning in. You've sent in 3 super chats today, but I think you've just wildly missed the point on all this. But that's fine. I mean, agree to disagree and appreciate you tuning in. James Stayson from Saint Etienne is the next top striker. Never heard of him, but I'll do some research, as you mentioned. So thank you. All right, guys, we're going to leave it there. Big thanks to everyone who tuned in. And yeah. But this Saliba stuff picked up way too much momentum, way more than I'd liked. Anyway, let's see. Let's see what happens. Hopefully it just goes quiet now. We can focus on PSG. Suge, always good to see you, man. Big up, James. 4 a.m. streams are quality as always. 4 a.m., my guy. Bless your heart. Of course, because what are we? You're 9 hours ahead in Brisbane. Mate, I hope you're good. Josephine, you're still going on in the comments, man. You're obsessed. I'm going to leave it there. It's an hour live stream. I've got a Sunday night to go enjoy. Ghosted, what's your YouTube channel, James? The Gooniverse and the Gooniverse 2. So on the Gooniverse, I'm just talking about, I'm doing some more analysis and data-driven covering of the news. And then, so there's a lot of analysis and numbers and stuff. On the Gooniverse 2, it's purely reacting to rumors and reports. So I reacted to some of this Saliba stuff before everything came out from L'Equipe. I did that on the Gooniverse 2 about 4 or 5 hours ago as well. So yeah, so I'm covering all that. So big thanks for asking. Appreciate it. Big thank you to you for tuning in. And everyone, love. Catch you soon. See you in a bit.